Welcome to the Seriously podcast. I'm your host, Annalise Gann. Now let's get into it. Welcome to the Seriously podcast, where we make light of serious conversations with really interesting people. Rosie Rees is the founder and CEO of Yoni's Pleasure Palace, Splash Blanket, Yinn Body, and creator of the Naked Awakening method. Through her hard work, Rosie has become a seven-figure business owner whilst also being at the forefront as an activist for internalised freedom. Based in Perth, Rosie is kept busy with her wife, family and business, but she doesn't often do interviews. So I wanted to find out more. Who is Rosie Rees? And how did she become this successful entrepreneur? So here's my chat. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to the Seriously podcast. This week we have Rosie Rees.
Hi everyone.
How are you?
I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm excited that you're here. I've literally been begging Rosie for like a year to come on. So I finally got you. You're a busy lady.
It does take a while, but we've been seeing each other at all these events and it's like finally we get to have a D&M.
I know, I'm so excited. You're a seven-figure business owner and entrepreneur and you're only 36.
I gotta pinch myself when you say that.
Yeah, that's just like amazing. But I want to begin with what made you who you are today. Can you tell me about where you grew up and your childhood?
Yeah, like no one asks me these questions, so I love that you've gone straight in for the history. I was actually brought up on a property out in Queensland. My mum and dad separated when I was about 3, and then my mum remarried like a Catholic farmer who lived on a property close to my grandparents. So my dad lived in Melbourne and then we moved up to Queensland and she remarried and like all of a sudden was thrown into living literally in the middle of nowhere. We had cattle and sheep and it was like wheat and cotton and sorghum and chickpea crops. And so, it was interesting. And then after about 5 years, it got pretty toxic. He was abusive and mum decided to leave, which I'm really grateful for. It wasn't a bad life. Like we used to go water skiing on the local lake and like things were good, but I could tell things weren't okay at home. And so she divorced him, but then unfortunately slipped into like a lot of addiction and mental health issues after that. And so she was essentially a single parent. I visited my dad like once a year, but it wasn't a lot. And so, I decided to go to boarding school because living at home was I was mum's emotional support and her rock. And it was hard. It was hard to see her go through a lot of pain, but I had to grow up really quick and look after her. We were best friends though at the same time. Like it was not what a daughter should have to do, but I did because that's just who I am. And I went to boarding school and then ended up going to university in Brisbane and then spread my wings after that.
Do you think having that amount of responsibility on your shoulders at such a young age almost pushed you to the level of success that you have today?
100%.
Because that's incredible, like to go through all of that and then to be such a successful business owner. Like how does that happen? Like that's amazing.
This is what I mean. I pinch myself because I still can't believe I'm in the space that I am now. Life was so hard. We had no money. Like I remember on Wednesdays we had scrambled eggs on toast because that's all we could afford. And a lot of my clothes were hand-me-downs from my sister. And, life was so hard. Like I just remember it being so hard. And, I didn't get to I didn't get to have a lot of fun. I didn't get to play. I didn't get to experience much joy. And I've had to do a lot of therapy on that as an adult to like relearn how to play and have fun as an adult because I didn't get to as a kid. Because I had to grow up and look after mum and just be aware that things, aren't okay at home. Lots of growing up at a young age to support me and my mum emotionally. Which I think has made me hungry for success because I want to be able to succeed and I don't look at the price tag of anything I buy now.
That would be nice.
Oh, it is nice.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah.
To get to this place, I am so grateful to be where I am today because there is absolutely no way I experienced this as a kid, you know.
That's incredible though. Like, I'm not going to say like rags to riches, but it sounds quite similar. Like, coming from not a lot of money, now you're very, very successful. Did you always have that entrepreneurial streak in you, or did you witness that growing up?
No and no. I actually have no idea where it came from.
Oh.
Well, no, I do. You know, my first job was at Muffin Break. My second job was at Boost Juice. I worked at this like news agency in the centre of the Queen Street Mall in Brisbane. So I've always had like a lot of customer facing work, and that's where I excel. I love people, and I honestly think, you know, having that connect, like being able to be a people person but also be very hungry to succeed and to make something of my life and not have to be in the situation that I was when I was a kid. I think that drives me. And also just like finding a problem that's like selfishly, all my businesses and products and services that I've brought out are from something I've desperately needed and or really wanted. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, if I want it, someone else wants it too. So just make it happen.
They definitely do, because fast track to now, babe. You're very successful. You're the CEO of Yoni Pleasure Palace, Splash Blanket, Yinn Body, and the creator of Naked Awakening Method. Mm-hmm. You're a busy woman. That's why it took so long to book her in.
It's true.
Can I ask, like, from a business perspective, what was your first business? And was it a lot of trial and error, or did it just work the first time?
My first business was Rosie Rees, so that was more just like as a coach, and essentially, like it's a really long story, but just to make it short and sweet, I was in an abusive, awful relationship, working my way up the corporate ladder in Sydney, as a finance recruiter. I cannot believe I was in that world.
Wow, I couldn't imagine that.
Oh no,
you're so cool.
It was
sounds like a dry job.
Again, well, it is dry, but it's also working with people.
True.
So I found myself in that situation after living in London for a few years and working as a waitress, and awful relationship. He was so controlling and manipulative, and I just became this shell of myself. Like, I was so suppressed, and I just didn't even know who I was. I had no confidence, no worthiness. And I went to a Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power, and he just made me realise, like, I'm not in a good place. This is not okay. I need to escape. I need to get out of here. And so broke up with him, quit my corporate job, I just totally had this spiritual awakening, went to India, became a yoga teacher, went to Bali, kept doing my yoga teacher training, and then I found this Jade Egg workshop, which literally was the fork in the road for me. It's like changed my life. And then I came home and I was like, well, by this stage I was a relationship coach because I just wanted to help other women get out of toxic, awful, controlling relationships, and to find a product that, you know, the egg, you essentially put it in your vagina. It's I could go deep into that, but I wanted to share this with women because it changed my connection to my body and my ability to feel pleasure. And so yeah, that was my first product was the Jade Egg, and that was on Yoni, and I started Rosie Rees website, and then I created Yoni Pleasure Palace.
So how old were you?
26, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've done so much in 10 years.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
That is incredibly wild, and you're very, very successful. So as you touched on before, you didn't say that you saw business growing up or anything. How did you learn business? Like, do you think like being thrown in the deep end is the best way to learn?
You know, so after I finished high school, I went to uni and I got a degree in business and journalism. But honestly, Annalise, like, I am not the businesswoman I am today from that degree. Like, yes, I got the piece of paper and everything, but I think it's just my ideas and my ability to fearlessly just launch them. Like, obviously there's a whole trial and testing sort of space to make sure whatever you're bringing out into the world is a good quality and stuff, but like I don't know, it's just this confidence that I have, because I don't have confidence in every area of my life, but when it comes to business, I'm like, I know what I'm doing, and I trust myself, I back myself, because like I said before, if I want this thing, I'm so sure there's other women in the world that want this thing as well. And then it's just like it's not confidence that you need, it's courage. It's just like having the courage to bring that thing to life and, you know, not shut up about it and not care if anyone doesn't agree with it. Like, when I turned around at 26 and told my mum and my dad, I'm like, I'm not going back to corporate. I'm actually becoming a naked yoga teacher and starting a crystal sex toy company. They were like, really, Rosie? Like, come on, babe, you need to be on this planet. And I'm like, no. But I only told them after I did the thing. This is the biggest thing, don't ever tell anyone what you're going to do. Go and do it first, prove yourself, and then tell them.
That's good tips.
Because you don't need permission. And if you get too many people in your head telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that, because there's no way my parents or people around me would have said, yeah, go do that. That sounds great.
Oh, my God, that's so true.
Right?
That's so true. And everyone has an opinion.
Yes.
And you're just like, I didn't ask for it.
No.
I'm just telling you my plans.
But they give it to you anyway, whether you like it or not. And you don't want to be swayed. And so if you are really hungry to do something, just do it without getting anyone's opinion or permission.
What's your favourite elements of business and your least favourite? Like, what part of the business do you run?
I run the fun stuff, actually. My favourite part is product development and coming up with new ideas and sort of the creation process. I do create reels and content as well, and I love that. My least favourite is, well, you know what? I've outsourced everything I don't like, which is basically everything else. So I have a really big team now, Annalise. It's like 15 women and 2 men, and they do all the things that I'm not either good at or I don't like, because I really believe, like, stay in your zone of genius, because I've burnt out maybe 2 or 3 times now where I've literally not been able to get off the couch, and it's been because I've put my energy into something that's not where Rosie excels and shines. It's like, as soon as I do that, there's no point in me doing it, So I don't like logistics and freight and shipping and oh my God, there's so much in the back end.
Yeah, 100%. Your beautiful wife, Ash, does she work in the business?
Ash is a graphic designer for Yoni Pleasure Palace 1 day a week. Yes, I hired Ash.
Oh, amazing. What does she think of your success?
Oh, when Ash met me, so Ash is non-binary.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I fuck it up all the time as well. So when I met Ash, they were a she, her.
Yeah.
And now they are non-binary, so their pronouns are they, them. But
got it.
I fuck it up all the time, and they don't get upset if I do. It's like it happens. So when I met Ash, what were they saying? They thought I was just some hippie, like they had no idea of my success. Like, they didn't realize how big my empire actually is, and I love that. I love that they didn't know.
How did you both meet?
So in 2015, a best friend of mine dragged me to, do you know Jungle Body?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like dance fitness.
Oh my gosh. You met at Jungle Body?
Yeah.
Gee, maybe I should go there.
You should. Oh my God, there's lots of hotties. So I saw Ash up on the stage, and I didn't know them, but I was just honestly, like, my jaw was on the ground. I was, like, it was instant obsession, infatuation, like, I had the hots. And then we switched, like, we exchanged Instagrams and we both followed each other. But then I realised, like, they're married and have a kid. And I was like, I, like, totally thought Ash was gay. She was giving me, like, major lesbian vibes. By the way, I was in a relationship with a man, so it's not like I could have done anything anyway. I just had a crush.
So you were both in a relationship with a man?
Totally, yes. And that's fine. So we just... we didn't even talk about the fact that we were attracted to each other. It was just like this little cute.
Like you just knew.
Cute. Yeah. But we followed each other, and then 3 years later, I have this Facebook group, Yoni Pleasure Palace. It has 25,000 women in it, and she just kept popping up. And I was like, and we're kind of replying to each other's comments, and then we just took it to the DMs. And after a little bit, I just said, listen, I just have to put this out there. I've had a crush on you for like 3 years. And then they were like, I've had a crush on you for 3 years.
What?
And and I was like, you're kidding me. And then it was like, what do we do? You're married, I'm with a boyfriend. But you know what? I hit 30 and I realised I'm not straight. Like, it's not like I realised I was gay. It was just that I did not want a bar of men. I was with a man, but like, other than that, I was done. And I was only attracted to women. And then, within 6 months, we'd both separated from our partners. And then I went from being like, living on my own in an apartment in Cottesloe to like literally living with a woman and her baby. She had a 2-year-old, and it was a big change. Huge change. Yeah.
Is that Mackenzie?
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
She's 7 now. So, yeah, we've been through a lot.
Wow. So their baby, Mackenzie, are you the baby's stepmom?
Stepmom. So Ash, everyone thinks Mackenzie's mine.
That's what I thought.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Well, you all look so similar.
No, she's Mackenzie is Ash's baby from her first marriage, their first marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're one big happy family now.
We are.
Oh, that's so special.
Yeah.
So that leads me to another question then. Would you ever want to have kids of your own?
Yeah. I never wanted to get married. I never wanted to have kids. I hadn't seen successful, healthy marriages in the past. So like I had no desire for that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ash and I have tried a few times without success, or I've had a few miscarriages. And to be honest, like there's the sperm donation process, because we want to do it with a known donor. We don't want frozen sperm with someone we don't know. Mm-hmm. It's pretty low, especially in Perth. And I feel like there should be so many more men donating sperm. Like it's something that they could give back. And there's so many lesbians, or like even just couples in general, who require sperm, and it's just not readily available. So there's a Facebook group, Sperm Donation Australia, that we're working with. But yeah, so it's just a process. It's such a long process. But I do want to attempt to have another baby.
And you carry it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ash should have 10 more babies, Annalise, if I said yes. But having one was enough. I mean, I didn't even expect to have Mackenzie, so it's like...
You're like, I didn't want to be married or have kids, and now you have both.
And here I am. It's obviously meant to be.
Next minute. Oh, so you're in the process. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. Fertility journey's intense.
It seems that, from what I've read and researched. Can I ask a personal question? Have you always known your sexuality? You just touched on that a bit before. So did you always assume like you were straight until you were 30? Like were you just... Or did you have like inklings? Because I feel like a lot of people know deep down for a long time. And then one day they're like, fuck it, I'm going to just open up and tell people. What was your experience like?
Listen, the writing was on the wall from a very young age. Like I remember having girl crushes in primary school and early high school. And it was always like the athletic, sporty tomboy girls. And like that's what I'm attracted to, is like that tomboy kind of vibe. And I just thought I wanted to be friends with them. Like I wanted to be besties. But actually looking back, I'm like, actually I had it was a genuine attraction. But I didn't realize it then, because we didn't have any, I guess, like representation. There was no lesbians in my world. And I didn't even know you could be with a girl. Like that was not even an option. So, and then I was teased in, I think, grade 10. One of my best friends called me a lesbian because I'd kissed a girl on the weekend at like a camp. And I just shut that part of me down because I thought it was like the worst thing you could say to someone. And so I just put that away in a box, and like I would kiss girls drunk when I was out at the club and like do stuff like that. But Ash is my first female, like with a relationship with a female. And I just literally woke up at 30 and was like, I'm definitely not straight. It was as simple as that. But I always knew I swung both ways, but I actually didn't think it was possible to be in a relationship with a woman. And I think that's just from representation and like lack of role models, honestly.
Yeah, there's a major lack of representation, especially in Australia.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. That sounds like quite a journey for yourself. And what did your friends and family think of everything? Like, because we do live in a very old school country, unfortunately. Like, what did they think at first?
They weren't surprised.
Oh.
No one was surprised.
That's fine then.
I remember like breaking up with my boyfriend, and my mum came over and I was crying. I was just like, I just didn't know what to do, because it was as simple as, I'm not with this guy anymore. I'm in love with a woman. And like my mum was like, oh, honey, that's okay. That's okay. I wasn't expecting it, but like, great. Like, who is she? And the same with my parents. I just went out for dinner with my dad and stepmom and was like, yeah, in love with a woman. It was as simple as that. It wasn't like, I'm gay, I'm coming out of the closet. It was just like, I'm in love with this person called Ash, and they happen to be a female, and that was it.
So happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I want to ask, what is one thing marriage has taught you?
Well, coming from someone who didn't actually want to get married, it was a long journey to actually walk down the aisle.
Did it scare you?
Yeah.
It scares me too.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't.
Yeah.
I did want to do it when I did it, but like it took. If that makes
You're
sense.
like, let me take that back.
Yeah.
No.
When Ash proposed, I'd had a total flip out like the week or month before, and I was like, I don't want to. I could feel it was coming. I was such a commitment phobic person, and then it took like 2+ years to even get to the point of planning a wedding. But what it's taught me is commitment's not something to be scared of. Like I actually now feel a lot of freedom. I used to think that committing and getting married is like you're getting pinned down, you're under the thumb, you're not free, you know.
Yeah.
But I actually feel a lot of freedom being committed to someone, and I feel like we're this epic little team. There's less drama. I think because I'm fully in. I've fully chosen Ash and Mackenzie. We're in, we're all in. It's not an easy escape route plan, like to leave, and I don't want to, but like I think that was what was scaring me, is like you can't just get out of this, but it's not as easy as just ending a relationship. But this Ash brings out so many good things about me. Like I like the person that I am being with Ash, and commitment's not so scary with the right person. There's less. I don't have any drama in my life anymore. Like we're just so chill. We're so content. We're so happy. And it's exciting to make plans with someone, travel plans, life plans. Like, yeah, I just feel there's a lot of moving parts in my life, but my relationship just feels so solid and strong and stable, and I fucking love that.
Every time I see you both at an event, I'm like, they're made for each other.
Oh.
It's like your soulmates. Like you can just tell, and like I'm so happy that you found that, because that doesn't happen for everyone. That's incredible. So that would have been hard to, not have. You seem like you're very happily married.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Oh, yeah. I'm still shit days there as well. But
I know. Don't worry.
But hot tip to anyone, if you've got a crush, like DM them.
Oh, I love that.
DM them. Send them a message. Even if you're going to get rejected, like who cares? Just like when I sent that message and I was like, by the way, crushing on you. Like, look where we are now. Do you know what I mean? Like if you have a crush on someone, don't be afraid to tell them.
Hey guys, if you've loved listening to the Seriously podcast, we'd really appreciate a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify podcasts. It keeps us making incredible content for all of you to hear. Thanks so much. Now, you have a lot of followers online, over 90,000 on Instagram alone, and in your line of work, you're very open with what you share. Do you ever get trolled?
No, which is...
that's amazing.
I don't know if there's just like this beautiful protective bubble of light around my social media, but I'm censored. Nothing grows. Like I always get people unfollow me automatically through Instagram. I don't know how it happens, but I very rarely get trolled, and I don't know why. I'm not complaining. That's fantastic. But I also think that I share a lot about sex and sexuality and self-pleasure. And that just comes so naturally to me. Like I could talk about that underwater. And I also don't talk about a lot of topics that could be controversial or, big opinions. I don't have time. I don't have time and energy to deal with any backlash or there's certain things I just don't talk about because I don't have the energy to deal with people and trolls. Like I love staying in my lane and doing my thing, and that's where I shine. And I take my hat off to people who really let everything out on socials, and people probably think I do, and I do. I share intimately and vulnerably most things in my life, and I shared, in the past 6 months, a lot about my grief, which was hard, but I don't get trolls, thank God.
Can we talk about your grief? Switching lanes a bit. Unfortunately, your mum passed away last year. I'm really sorry. That would have been really hard. How are you doing? Because I remember seeing you a few months after and, you seemed really sad, obviously, as one would be. How are you feeling now?
Now I feel great. And I know that sounds fucked to say that after, you know, my mum passing. But I wasn't great. I wasn't great for a long time. And I think for the first 3 to 6 months, I just, like, honestly, I just felt every single emotion there was to feel, because it was a shock and it wasn't expected. And I think, like, I've done so much self-development on myself, and I remember doing a tantra training, and my teacher said to me, you know, there's no, emotions aren't good or bad. You know, happiness isn't better than sadness, and there's no shame in expressing, you know, sadness or rage or grief or anger. And so I have no, you know, I have no filter sometimes with my emotion. And as soon as I feel something, I feel it fully and I express it fully. And so I honestly feel like when my mum died, there was weeks where I literally just shook and tremored and like on the floor like a wounded animal and just wailed, and the sorrow and like the fucking, like the pain that I felt, I never want to experience it again. But obviously death is inevitable. But I think because it was just such a shock, like I just let myself fully fucking feel the grief. And I think a lot of people don't feel the grief. They don't allow themselves to fall to pieces. And like it's probably going to come back out, and I'll feel more like, but I feel like I fully felt it all for so long that now I'm able to function, because I literally don't, there's nothing in my body that's like still bubbling away under there. You know, I haven't suppressed anything.
Yeah. So you're at the final stage really of acceptance. They say there's like 5 stages in grief. As you said, there's probably many more. So you've went through all of it, and now you're coming back on top. Is that right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I have such a beautiful connection with my mum spiritually.
Yeah.
She has come to me even on the night that she died.
Oh, wow.
It was the craziest experience. I just needed to know that she was okay and that she had crossed over and she was at peace.
Yeah.
And I was honestly, like, it was desperation. Like I was sitting on her bed and just desperate. And I was sitting there with Ash, and I just said, I just need to know that she's in a better place. And honestly, this energy just, it's almost like it swept in through her door and like bolted in, an energy just bolt, like a lightning bolt through my body and into my heart. And like Ash saw it. My whole body went backwards. And I started, because I was crying, I started laughing.
Oh,
and
wow.
it makes me emotional just thinking about it.
Wow.
And it was just like this confirmation. Okay. And that's all I needed. And then the next day I went to the beach and I was talking to my mum spiritually, and like, yeah, Ash said, my mum was with Ash, said, take a photo of Rosie. And I was like, I was down with my feet in the ocean, and Ash took a photo of me, and there was this light just beaming down from the left side, and the sun was over on the right, but it was just beaming down straight over me, like this beam of light. And that's just 2 things that I've experienced since Mum's passed. But like there's like so many things, that experiences I've had with Mum's spirit since she's gone, and it's like I know she's just there. And I know I sound really quite like almost detached, but it's just like I've processed so much fucking emotion in the past 6 months that, yeah, I'm so like in acceptance of it.
Yeah, you're ready to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand, like when I've lost people, my family, it's like you can't be sad forever. You need to wake up and feel better again one day, and that day comes.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're in that place.
So many people were DMing me saying it's not going to get better.
Oh,
it's not going to get easier.
That is so negative.
I disagree with that. I think if you process your emotions properly, it will get better. Your capacity to hold the grief is going to expand, so you can handle it. Mm-hmm. It won't feel as overwhelming, but yeah, it does get easier.
I remember when I lost my grandma, who was like a second mum to me, and I was like, yeah, it does get better. You don't stop missing them. You think of them every day. You see them every day. But it's not like an overwhelming sense of I can't live my life and get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So good on you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and being so open and honest with everything. I want to ask finally, Rosie, what is next for you? Have you got any plans in terms of new things coming out? I'm sure you do, knowing you.
Oh my God, I got so many different things coming out. Well, we just launched a pet waterproof blanket called Wolf. It's super cute. And there's a meow one as well. There's one for cats.
That's amazing.
So it's not all sex here. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of like baby blankets coming out and waterproof robe, basically anything waterproof. It's like, but cozy and waterproof. But in terms of, what I'm doing, I'm just continuing on this business venture, and I think I'm also slowing down. Like, the thing with owning your own business, you never fully switch off. But this year, I'm so much less stressed, and just I'm more calm than I've ever been, and I'm taking more holidays this year. I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Fiji. I think since Mum's death, I realised you can't just work all the time, and I have worked pretty consistently for 10 years, and it's great because it's got to where it is now, 7-figure, huge empires, which is amazing. But
global as well.
I need to rest now. So my babies don't need me as much, and I can, they're growing up, so I can kind of be a bit more free.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to finish the podcast. Rosie Rees, thank you so much for coming on Seriously. Where can people find you on social?
You can find me on rosie.rees. I'm usually shadow banned, so good luck finding me, but it's REES. And there's also Yoni Pleasure Palace and Splash Blanket, and you'll see it all on there.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, guys, for listening to this week's guest episode. I will see you next week for another one. Bye.